Welcome back into our final game of the Pacific Championship Series. It is going to be between Beyond Gaming, Mega Bank Beyond Gaming, and J Team coming down to the very last second of the clock here. And before we go into it, we want to thank our sponsors in CTBC Bank, China Airlines, and Chonghua Telecom. Now, this last series is basically always been a slow burner. Both of these teams love to play for the late game team fights. Both Lil V and Doggo are hyper carries. There's a lot of similarities between these two squads, but who do you think is going to come out on top and potentially snag that third place?
So far today, it's really just been whoever placed higher last split will go ahead and take it. And if that's the case, it should be all lined up for Beyond Game to take this last game. But we are going to see Taipei J Team introduce first Rest top lane, Hana in the jungle, Mission in the mid lane, and Lil V Woody in that bottom lane. And to go deeper into your bot lane discussion here, I think the big difference between Lil V Woody and Doggo Kino is the fact that Doggo can take it to you in the lane phase, which is a little bit different from what Lil V brings to the table. He's more about just making sure I hit late game. And Doggo's, well, I'm going to beat the curve. I'm going to hit late game before you even hit mid game.
I have to say Doggo is definitely the more aggressive one for sure, and the stats do prove that. He's over 600 gold ahead at 10 minutes throughout the split so far, getting massive leads just early on. Have a little bit of a pause there on the player cams. Don't get to see Lil V's beautiful face, and he's obviously using a filter. I don't know why no one else on the team is using a filter, but only he is. That's a smart investment. I think it's always pays to look good on camera. So congratulations to him on to that one. And in the meantime, swapping around from the bottom lane where you have two similar styles, but one definitely more aggressive. I think the top lane is also something we really want to watch out for. Liang or PK against Rest, who in my mind probably has been the best or the second best top laner so far in the split.
Yeah, and it is going to be PK going up in that top lane here. So I expect for Mega Bank Beyond Gaming to take a more reserved approach when it comes to that top side. And of course, the highlight is just Lil V and Doggo in that bot lane matchup. As you can see, these two players putting out a whole lot of damage per minute here. Over 500, which is really, really nuts. But then you also get a showcase of the differences between the players in that gold difference at 15. Lil V plays for scaling. Doggo plays for lane and still scales.
He's going to kill you in laning phase. What the hell is that GD at 15? I don't think I've ever seen a gold difference at 15, like 2 weeks into a split, that's over 4 digits. That's absolute insanity here. I think J-Team will have to swap around their strategies to kind of answer to Doggo. So far, not even PSG, I feel like, has had a good handle on keeping Doggo down. We're going to be taking a look at the bans here. J-Team paying a lot of respect to Mao An and his Akali, which he's debuted this split, taking away the Thresh. More of a ban at the Aphelios and the Xin Zhao at the same time. Kind of interesting to see blue side Xin Zhao bans, but that's what we have here. On the flip side, Beyond Gaming going to take away the Gwen and Viego, potentially potentially bans against someone like Rest.
Oh, okay, this is a very bold opening pick here, going for the Lucian. They're trying to block against the LeBlanc pick that would naturally kind of come out here on this first phase, and we'll see what their answer is. Of course, Lucian has the ability to still go into that top lane for Rest, who's been a pretty incredible carry player himself here, and it's going to be a very interesting first pick here over on the red side as well. It's going to be a first pick Rise here into most likely the hands of Mao An, but I love this pick in general at the moment just because of how easy it is to get priority, which means you can play around the mid jungle 2v2 very, very easily, and also offers you an ability to kind of get out of this mid lane without having to necessarily interact with this Lucian.
Rise is just one of those champions that gets to do everything once it gets late enough into the game, but early on, you still have to favor Mission and his Lucian. This is pretty much his signature pick after the Azir. And for Mega Bank Beyond Gaming, they're going to round it out with a Volibear. Could go to Husha and could go to PK at the same time. We have seen both players go for it. J-Team looks like they're going to have a mid-jungle-centric game. We don't really associate Hana with a late game carry jungler like the Diana, but they are going to try for it this time around, and it does look like a lot of catch potential, good wombo if they do lock in the Camille. She's pretty much been the flavor of the day so far. Lika having great performances on it. We saw Ozzy go for it, and we also saw Liab pick up the Camille.
And
screen, we do have Benny in the back line.
So, Clement, this is such an interesting draft approach, and I really think it's only against a team like Mega Bank Beyond Gaming, because you see J-Team have essentially established their top half of the map. I don't really see Lil V taking this Lucian into that bot lane, so for J-Team to go for this top-heavy draft already just shows you that they need this second phase to really establish what they want to play in that bottom lane, because if you ever give Doggo the ability to play Draven, he will take it. So they save bot lane for second phase, which means they can take away the Draven in the ban phase.
I typically do like running Lucian with a much more early game focused jungler than Diana, but we'll see how J-Team does it. This is the fun thing about J-Team. They will draft very strong mid-jungle duos and not roam the two together whatsoever. Mission will just be in his lane, do his own thing, and he'll act as a cover for Hana to do whatever Hana wants. And that's just kind of the dynamic between the team. It's very interesting to see how J-Team operate. They are not particularly aggressive, but they're incredibly strong laners that it does allow them to establish a good lead into any comp that they so choose. Beyond Gaming are going to take away a lot of bot lane champions that can provide support away from the laning phase, while J-Team are just trying to ban away strong champions in the lane itself. Targeting Doggo with the Aphelios and the Kalista. We have seen Doggo hover the Samira a couple of times, but I don't really think anyone is going to go for Samira after the nerfs. He did take a lot of damage on those, and really isn't able to carry through the lane phase as well as she did before. A lot more late game power. So we do see Beyond going for the Varus. This is pretty much the standard answer if you want to win lane, and Kalista is not available.
So Doggo going for this Varus pick instead of saving last pick for a possible Draven pick really suggests to me that they want to keep the set pick open as far as where that pick goes, and as a result also leave this Volibear pick open for interpretation where that goes in the lane. So some different ways that Beyond Gaming can end this draft with this last pick, and for decided J-Team, they just go for a pretty safe bottom lane with the Ezreal. Leona, of course, has that kill opportunity at level 6 if given the chance, but here it actually is a good spot to move the set into the bot lane against the Leona.
I really like these last two picks coming out from J-Team, rounding out with the burst combo and the catch potential, while also playing a weak side in the bottom lane. So it looks really beautiful to me. For Beyond Gaming, they are going to go for something that is a little bit more defensive in the Braum here. So they're going to have a lot of roaming potential. And we have our final lock-ins. It does look like Set will go for the top lane for PK. Strong matchup early on, but later on Camille does sneak back, and Husha does get the Volibear.
So it will be Husha on the Volibear pick here. Most importantly, this bot lane matchup still allows you to play super aggressively with the Varus and the Braum. Of course, the Braum stacks very quickly when you do have the Hail of Blades Varus, so able to take early trades very, very well here in that bottom lane. So I expect to see Doggo Kino play very far forward, and Huxia most likely will try and path towards bot lane to ensure that they're safe.
Can you kind of break down what each team comp is trying to go for? These are not your usual standard comps that we see from either teams, I feel like.
Yeah, here for the side of J team, they've got pretty safe lane in that bottom lane duo of Ezreal and Leona. You're playing for lane with this Lucian pick, and then you're looking to scale up into that top half, right, with Hana on the Diana, Rest on this Camille. So I feel like they're mostly playing towards the soul lanes and then rotating the Diana to try and catch out whoever ends up getting exposed in the 1-3-1. On the flip side, for Beyond, they have a couple tools to match that 1-3-1 and the fact that they have Rise, but whenever you have a Volibear in the jungle, you're looking to just hard slam bottom lane because that's the most value you get out of your ultimate.
Stormbringer incredibly good, and just disabling that tower allows for a lot of dives. You could see that pretty early on with the Realm War provider in the mid lane. And this is, I think both sides, I think they got what they want here. I was expecting more of a slow, more grindy game coming out from the two sides with big team fight finishes, but they're telling me, nah, this is what they want to play for now. We are getting Doggo with the PSG flashes right off the gate. It seems to be a tremendous honor for him to have attended MSI, the rest of the PSG squad, and he just wants everyone to remember he's not the old Doggo. He's the Doggo that's been baptized by MSI and, of course, the rest of his PSG teammates in that event. We're going to head on towards the Rift. Whenever we have a Braum, we do have to look out for some sneaky level 1 plays, and indeed, Hino is going right in, and we're going to be taking a look at the rune so far. It's going to be a much more standard phase rush out of Mao An's Rise.
And it's going to be a pressed attack coming in from Huxia, so going for a little bit more aggressive approach here. Of course, trying to look for those early skirmishes, and against the Diana, who's looking to try and clear jungle out for the most part on that first clear. Not looking for those early trades. It's going to hopefully allow Huxia to get aggressive and look for early ganks pre-level 4.
Really have both teams with similar ideas here. Two wards just looking at each other in that river. I love what J-Team is doing, protecting Hana's pathing. It's definitely possible to see a level 3 invade coming in from Huxia. He's done this many times before. And we're going to get PK trying to find that level 1 trade up against Rest and also get some more scouting information. Beyond Gaming setting up for a punish on the leash from J-Team. Let's see if Little V and company walk directly through it. Oh, Little V pulls back at the last second and allow Woody to take the shot. Does get his bone plating down. Small win from Beyond, but they also miss out on the full shot if they wanted to.
It does mean that they're... I don't know if they were able to deny any mini XP actually there, and PK taking a very unfavorable trade there. Rest, I don't know how he played that level 1, but whatever he did, credit to him, because he puts himself in a very comfortable position that even though he doesn't hit level 2 first, with where the wave is, PK isn't able to go aggressive and really capitalize of that level advantage. And Huxia, here it is, pre-level 4, looking for a play right here.
Mao An does get the spell flux onto him. Can he find the root? Does get it, and Huxia is charging in with the Q. Should be able to flash any second right now. Is going to force Mission to preemptively flash. And they're not done. They know Diana doesn't have that much fight stat in her. So they will chase him into his own jungle, and that's going to be a sizable lead early on for Beyond.
And Huxia is actually just going to
walk in, and they get the stun. That's going to be first blood. Oh,
huge first blood coming in from that 2v2, and now they're going to try and find more. Hana will be able to walk away, keeps both of his summoners as well, but now it means, you know where everyone is on the map. It means that Doggo, he can go to town when it comes to this 2v2. He's going to look to trade very aggressive.
And this is why I say, typically when I have a Lucian, I prefer to run him with something more aggressive early game, something that can actually back up your aggression. That's not how J-Team drafts. They do get a full punish here by Beyond Gaming, and I love that pathing coming over from Maoan, just wrapping around the blue wall. And of course, Husha holding onto his flash on the first engage. Really smart right there. Gets a free flash from Mission, and then uses it on the second way around. You can tell Maoan has that damage lead going into this one. Just a full combo unloaded onto Mission. And the thing here is that Mission did lose a lot of CS pushing towards Maoan. He should be getting that one back. And Hana should know that he is spotted, just judging by the way that Maoan is jerking around in lane. And we are going to get a push here, but Husha is once again hot on Diana's tails. This could be very difficult for Diana to ever transition back, and it looks like they're setting up for another dive. Is this even possible? Husha is going to go in for it. They go behind the second tower, and they do find the kill! The damage calculated to a T!
Oh my god, Clement. This mid-jungle duo has been lights out, and it's only been 4.5 minutes into the game. Maoan, Husha, like, this was... When I looked coming into the season, I had a couple questions, because yes, Doggo is incredibly powerful, but I would say Husha, Maoan, this is the weak point when it comes to contesting a team like PSG. But if they're playing like this, J-Team, they've got a tall order ahead of them.
I can't believe they managed to pull that off. They went into the inner mid, and
Level
Mission must
4
have still had, like,
dive.
at least 500 HP.
Yeah, it's
was
not
very
even
well
like a
calculated.
level 6. Volibear uses all, turns off the tower, makes it a very safe dive. No, if anything went wrong there, and if any spell ended up missing perchance, it definitely could have just ended up being a double kill for Mission.
Yeah, Mission had his E, and Husha predicted where the Sky Splitter needed to be perfectly. He got the full damage in and was able to clean up with Maoan on the back end. You can tell that even J-Team are a bit flabbergasted by that play working. Hana definitely looking a little bit dejected that one happened. Husha, again, this is what we expect out of this matchup. Very strong early on as a champion in the Volibear. And he's looking for a bot lane tower dive, just walking through J-Team's jungle. J-Team finally gets the memo, and here comes Maoan too with the Realm Warp. Well, at least they're going to close down on Woody for sure. Maybe extra resistances. Woody does have to flash away, so that is disaster averted, and a huge respite for the mid-jungle on J-Team's side.
They're able to get out, but the cost is still immense. They have to expend the flash onto Leona, the heal onto Ezreal, and on the flip side, Doggo's going to be able to get his hands on a couple of plates, and the rest of the team will be able to claim this Cloud Dragon. So extra cooldown for those ultimates means that Husha, with that first ultimate, is going to get a really nice buff there, because that second ultimate will be very soon to follow.
You always want to tower dive. If you get one tower dive, you get the summoners, you want to go again, so that's definitely what they're looking for. Heal and flash already down on the bottom side, and to be expected, this bottom lane is going to fall behind naturally in terms of CS, but the degree which they're falling behind is still very worrying. It's over 20 CS at this point, as Doggo does wait for the back on Lil V and Woody's side to push another wave in. We are getting some roams from Kino at this point. He's judging that Doggo is going to be safe in lane by himself, so is going to head towards the top lane, just set this up in case there is going to be a Herald play from J-Team. On the other hand, Maoan feeling very comfortable in this lane. Even with the serrated Dirk on Lucian, he's able to keep his distance and push this one out. We're going to have a bit of a roam towards the top side. We see pings going down here. Woody walking over the Herald. Let's see if they can find a kill here. The Hextech Ultimatum is available. Still a very difficult fight, I would say. They probably need Diana for the extra damage if they want that one to work. And Kino does just show himself here, so it looks like a very bold play for the top lane. PK, as a weak side specialist, I have a feeling that he's sensed this out. Takes the stun, but doesn't try to trade anything back. Instead walks... Okay, never mind. That was
He knew it was coming, but thought he had maybe 15, 20 extra seconds to actually make the ward happen before the play came through. And unfortunately, they were already there. So the senses were tingling, but not tingling hard enough. As now, J-Team turned their attention onto Rift Herald. Beyond are here to contest. And it's just a matter of what is the actual play.
Out of the 4v3 here. Beyond might be going a little bit too far as we see Hana going in. Mission crucially gets exhausted down, and Husha gets a massive Stormbringer onto 3 members here. Mawan's still alive, but Mission is able to pick one up. He's trying to chase for Kino, not able to do it, and Set comes back into the fight. Mission very low. One more hit down, but he survives. And that does end up being a, I think it was a one for one trade at the very end here. And in the meantime, Doggo able to bully out a little V on the bottom side. Let's watch that again as J-Team just open up on the 4v3.
No, they have the man advantage, so they just go straight forward, and yeah, they get the kill onto Woody, but Mission untouched means he can put out a lot of damage, and 2 members at the end of the fight. Absolutely narrowest of survival margins. Kino barely gets out, Mission even more so. But the biggest winner of that skirmish was Doggo, because he gets free time on that bot lane, gets himself yet another plate, solo plate gold for him. He forces Lil V to take even more of a CS deficit, and it looks like that 1200 gold deficit at 15 is looking to be fulfilled once again.
I'll be honest, I don't think it's going to be that far ahead, but we still have 5 minutes to go, so I'm not going to say any more on that one. I don't want to jinx it either way. In the context of that play, I still think Beyond Gaming came out ahead. They were down 1 member in PK and were able to stop the Herald. Just the way they played that was so smart. They actually walked back onto the ramp, made sure J-Team had a funnel, and then punished them with Husha's AoE ultimate going down. So it's just these small things like this that you can tell that Megabank Beyond Gaming has been able to level up beyond a lot of their peers here. No one really expected this team that was formed this year to be doing so well in the PCS and overtaking squads like Machi and J-Team. So kudos to them. They are going to get another pick onto Woody, just not in the right place at the right time. Will go down even with the aftershock, but a 3-man moonfall could change things, and they take the taxi out. Goodbye! See you another day, says Moan. You're not getting any piece of this.
What an unbelievable ult from Moan to get his team out of dodge right there. And for the side of J-Team, they just fall short yet again in being able to secure a kill. They lose Woody in exchange. They are going to be able to get this Rift Herald. However, they only have 2 minutes to look for an opening to drop the Rift Herald, gain the gold. And I think they're going to look for it soon because Dragon is up and available. We see the replay. Woody just has a really unfortunate pathing there, and Hana gets an incredible ult. But an even better bailout comes out from Mawan.
Man, Hana has to feel so dejected by that one. He had a perfect moonfall. They already wasted most of their damage on Woody. But still, J-Team very short on converging that one. Hana, we did see the earlier pings onto the top lane. They definitely want to get this split pusher in Camille ahead. We'll drop the Herald here. Doesn't mind if he's spotted by PK. He'll still go for the play. And Beyond Gaming has to have a response on the other side of the map. Rest is going to go in. Hookshot finally lands. Full combo on. But Showstopper still comes out. Not enough, though, as Rest is able to walk just out of tower range. They're going to be able to hold on to this Herald for a while after they get the 2 plates. And this should be first brick gold going over to J-Team.
So it's going to be a trade of gold here. J-Team able to find the play, which is really, really good for them, being able to get that dive and secure themselves the extra first tower gold, but
Ooh,
now
they do get the root onto Lil V. Where will Lil V go? They open up on the other side. Can they trade the kill back? No, Doggo is still very safe. Kino is burning down with the Ignite, but he's going to keep himself alive. And it just will be a 1 kill, plus most likely the tower after Beyond Gaming finish off the wave.
It's going to be an even trade when it comes to the gold there. They're going to be able to get the dive.
Diana special. Trying to one-shot Malan. The one says, nah, you're not touching this. Uses the Everfrost just to get out, but he has to come back to lane with Mission waiting for him. Mission isn't able to calibrate the last part of the culling, and Malan stays alive.
Malan survives that burst of damage, and that means he's able to wave clear very, very easily afterwards. Not that difficult to wave clear as Rise already at this point in the game, and we get to see the dive coming in at this bottom tower. Lil V flashes back towards his tower, and Husha says, well, you don't really have the tower. Disables it. They get the kill onto him. Unfortunately, unable to get the second kill. But 1 for 1 across the map, and also 1 for 1 in towers. Very balanced trade, and it really just comes down to who's going to be able to use that extra gold more effectively. Is it going to be Rest, or is it going to be Doggo?
Very close game we have on our hands. The two teams only about 1,000 gold apart, but Husha is looking massive at this point. 3-0-2. He probably has the best KDA as a jungler, so no, River probably still has the lead in that one, but Husha has multiple flawless champions, and it looks like Volibear might be one of them. Is going to start and just patrol the enemy red side jungle at this point. You can tell Rest is playing very respectfully, not even going to inch forward past the Krugs at this point. And if we look at the carries across from J-Team, Lucian and Ezreal really not where they need to be. The Chains of Corruption is going to go wide. We're going to get an instant flash away coming out from Doggo. Has to burn both summoners. Hana was a great trade of summoners there. And there is no turn, but they do force out the retreat from Beyond Gaming.
Everyone burning cooldowns there. We see both cooldowns, or both summoners burnt from Doggo, but also the flash coming in from Hana as he tries to take advantage of the overextension. I believe he also burned the stopwatch, so massive cooldowns coming down here means the dragon fight in 80 seconds is definitely going to be a lot of fireworks if they handshake on this team fight. It's still possible. Beyond, because of the fact that they already have 2 dragons, will go ahead and concede this next one, but for sure J-Team, they want to contest this one.
Time is ticking for Lucian, so definitely want to get him in the action as early as possible.
Especially with this lethality build.
Yeah, exactly. We have seen a lot of other builds like the Kraken Slayer come out, or the Immortal Shield Bow, which was a mission favorite earlier on, but this time he is going to go for extra damage to just win out his lane. Unfortunately, not really able to do so. And I just want to commend Hana once more. A great trade, a great find onto Doggo. He gets both summoners on their main carry, and that could be one of the things that changes this next upcoming Drake fight. If Hana can find Doggo again, there's nothing that Doggo can do to survive this time around. You're going to have Malan very slow to the play, as Drake is up in about 12 seconds, and both sides trying to flank. You can see the pings on mid lane going from both brushes. It's a lot of coordination being communicated on both ends here. Mission is able to clear out mid. Beyond Gaming does arrive onto River a little bit earlier, and we have Rest on the flanking route, trying to find his way back onto Doggo. Doggo's going to have himself in a very safe position, concealed in this brush. Some poke going back and forth, and we do have Beyond Gaming
he whiffs.
Starting up this Drake. Doggo, ooh, crucial, he doesn't get a single target. Chainstone spread, and he has to switch over positions to this ramp where it gives him a better escape. You can see Kino zoning the other members away, but this is a very dicey situation, and Husha is already filing low. Looks like Beyond has to give over a little bit more position, and we have Woody cutting off Doggo from the rest of the team. Here comes the engage. Glacial Fissure used, but nothing decisive happening just yet. We don't have Camille in the fight either. And both teams just trade positions on the Drake, going low at this point, less than 2,000 HP. We do get the smite from Hana. Well done on his part.
We get the fight.
He stops the Drake stacking, and in comes the 3-man. Also, with Rest into the backline, he's just going to be able to part the seas. He even keeps himself alive throughout that one. Beyond Gaming have to run away. Doggo does take the Pop Blossom across the wall, but that was a great engage from J-Team. They get the objective. They get another great fight from Hana, getting the 3-man Moonfall, and they take away everything.
And Hana absolutely popping off with this Diana pick, going for the Rocket Belt as well. You can see it's just doing wonders for him. Getting that extra gap close ability puts him in perfect position for a perfect Moonfall. And he nails it. He does so much work in that. And J-Team, they get everything. 2 kills, a dragon, and yeah, you're seeing the consequences of Doggo not having flash in that last fight. He couldn't position aggressively there to actually output damage onto the dragon. He ended up being in a very, very safe position that while he could throw out poke, he couldn't actually do DPS to the dragon, which prevented them from finishing the dragon and allowing J-Team back into the fight.
A little bit surprised that he was going to pop off his ultimate that early. When your team has position on Drake, you can definitely wait for the team to walk up to you a little bit more, but I guess he thought he had a chance on Lil V. Lil V is still dodging out on the initial one, and J-Team do walk away with that one, so I think J-Team has done a great job to weather the storm, and Camille is getting slowly online, ever so slightly. We're going to get another contest here. Beyond Gaming just inching forward into the river. Don't find any of the slows necessary, but Chains of Corruption could be coming. This time they do get Lil V, but he's a little bit too close to his own tower for them to find the kill shot here. We have the rest of J-Team moving up to defend. This will give full river priority over to Beyond, but I doubt they can really start Baron at this point. So just kind of a fake and trade while Rest pushes this minion wave into tower.
Not a whole lot that they can do off of that, as Baron at 21 minutes is not going to go down that quickly, especially against a lethality Varus. So they're forced to back off. It means J-Team with this Rift Herald will be able to take mid and take bottom tower. Extra gold going into their pockets. They've now accumulated almost a 2k gold lead, and Beyond Gaming, this is their window here, because Doggo on the lethality Varus, he has to make his damage count here and now to snowball into that late game, as he does have the cheaper build, but does drop off once armor does get built up on the side of J-Team.
As you mentioned, lethality build coming out right here. So we'll do a lot of damage to this Ezreal in the backline. I think we will be seeing a Frozen Heart at some point coming out from Lil V just to prevent his very imminent death in these team fights. On the flip side, Maoan still having a pretty good time. He did go up against a very difficult matchup, but came out relatively unscathed and is still somewhat ahead. Massive pings coming out from JT, but they are going to have to walk over triple wards here, so don't expect much to happen with that play. Both teams jostling for position on Baron by this time, with Rest really walking away with a massive CS lead, plus 40. In the laning phase, we didn't get much of a lead coming from him, but with these last couple of team fights where J-Team was able to be more patient and wait for the side lanes to develop, that's been the biggest benefactor of that one, already moving very close to his Ravenous Hydra. And this is where we start to see the shift, like you mentioned earlier. Ezreal going to overtake Doggo at some point. Beyond Gaming left on the back foot with this Set and Varus pick that they do need to make maximum use of.
Yeah, and more importantly here on the side lane is the fact that Rest has or almost has that second item completed. Once that comes through, he definitely has a massive advantage against PK, and already does, right? He has a 2-level lead, has a large CS lead. And more importantly, Maoan, he doesn't have teleport to exchange with PK. They need that teleport for him to start matching this Camille. And even then, Rest, because of how far ahead he is, it's definitely a 50-50 matchup. As if Camille gets onto the Rise, definitely can delete him. But if Rise is able to maintain range, it's a different story.
Pretty interesting play that we see here coming out from J-Team. Setting up a pick on the top lane and giving over the dragon instead. Typically, unless you can also remove Baron Vision. I'm not a huge fan of this play, in all honesty, but I guess they just want to avoid the worst case scenario of a lost team fight when the opponent is at their power spikes. We just saw Doggo tick over to his Mura mana, and that's going to be massive on the side of Beyond Gaming. And J-Team just going to take the gold on the table instead. Think about later for tomorrow.
And I think the reasoning behind that was the fact that Rest was so close to that Ravenous Hydra, they don't want to fight without him having that item. And even then, they're going to be a little bit more conservative. I think it really was just those item spikes, because now you see Lucian has gone back, has now completed the Sorel does. That's a massive power spike for him, in addition to, of course, the Eclipse and that Serpent's Fang. So maximum 3-item power spike for him at this point in the game. This is where they're going to look to play a little bit more aggressive here, as Lil V also relatively strong.
Well, this team fight is going to be really difficult for Beyond Gaming. Most of their gold lead is actually concentrated on Husha, and I think he's going to find it hard to lock down any of these targets. Both Lucian and Ezreal can be extremely slippery. On the flip side, Doggo, he does have both of his summoners this time, but his life expectancy in the 5v5 still isn't going to look too pretty. Let's see if Beyond Gaming can actually find the pick or protect him with Kino. It's pretty rare to see Kino on the defensive end, but we'll see how he does.
Yeah, Kino on the Braum should be able to play a little bit defensively. We'll see how things pan out. But Megabank Beyond Gaming, they also understand that this next fight is the most important fight of the game. And that's why you look in their inventories, they've got 3 stopwatches. They know that this next fight has to be it. So a lot of tension really building up for what will be a dragon fight in 2.5 minutes, or perhaps one of these teams will try and pull the trigger on that Baron.
But the flashback into the showstopper.
Good dodge.
Rest has to burn his Hextech ultimatum,
that's
and
a flash.
Mullen goes in, but the Everfrost is short. Flash for flash this time around, and PK is caught in the middle of nowhere. They do get the first kill in. Doggo does find the Chains of Corruption, and they get the shutdown on Lucian out of nowhere. Mission unfortunately does drop, and now Beyond Gaming are on the chase. They do have a very sped up Bear here. Woody cannot run away on the Leona, and they lose 1 extra member in the exchange, which prompts Megabank Beyond Gaming to go straight for the Baron. J-Team have to respond in some fashion.
And Megabank Beyond Gaming, they are able to find that one fight earlier than that dragon. Still 100 seconds before the dragon, and now they're going to start out the Baron. They still have all 3 stopwatches here, so for the side of J-Team, they have to be incredibly careful that they don't toss the game here.
Great block by Kino. He's keeping his members
alive
and safe right here. Rest. Oh, massive damage from Haman. He catches 3 members once again, but falls down before he can clean up any of the kills. Lil V is dead, and Rest is soon to follow. Goes over the wall, but the rain of arrows still finds him anyway. Beyond Gaming get a delayed ace. They clean up everyone, and they now head out to the Baron.
And right when I say they have to be so careful about not tossing the game, they full commit to the fight, and it started out so pretty. Hana, with that Moonfall, gets an enormous value and damage, but the rest of these members don't deal a whole lot of AoE damage. Ezreal doesn't have his ultimate, so while it looked pretty, there was no follow-up to actually execute it, and because Rest went for a split push focus build, he doesn't have that Sterk's gauge to actually team fight, and it ends up being a massive, massive advantage for Mega Bank Beyond. They're now in the gold lead and well in position to secure Inferno Soul.
Overall, throughout that entire sequence, Beyond Gaming got a 5-for-1 trade, plus the extra objective in the Baron buff. J-Team just coming up a little bit short. They were up against a numbers advantage from Beyond, and they weren't able to converge on this one. Moonfall is up for Hana, so they still have a chance, but they need to take this fight.
Oh,
it will be... Oh, man, that's so much damage coming up from Dago, and he flashes over for the snipe. He did have a ward there, so it wasn't blind, but still a great find, and they do get Infernal Soul. Dago keeping his distance while picking off the targets on rest. He's going to go down. Hana goes into the back line, but can't find this Varus. Dago is playing so elusive and so well with his range advantage.
And Mega Bank Beyond Gaming, they know how to turn on the Jets once they actually have an advantage. They get that Baron buff, they get the ace, and the follow-up on this Inferno Dragon is absolutely perfect. Back-to-back arrows land, mission aborted as he falls right then and there. Nice attempt from Woody or Lil V, but the damage not enough.
Now, this was just the death thralls of J-Team, as there's nothing much that their front line can do at that point. Mission, he wanted to be an adventurer, but then he took an arrow through to the knee, and now he's sitting back at Fountain. So Beyond Gaming right now with a massive 5,000 gold lead, and statistically that should be a lot higher because of the Infernal Dragon coming in as well. It's looking really dire right here. J-Team, they still have the potential to orchestrate a catch and just burst Dago down. But at this point, Dago has not suffered a single death throughout this game. It's remained incredibly safe throughout. So J-Team have to change out their tactics. They have to make sure that the damage is on point or the flanks are coming in unseen. Woody could be caught out here again. I'm just going to give him a love tap.
1Q still does a decent amount of damage there, but Dago, he knows how to play his limits. You see, when he has and doesn't have flash, he's got completely different play styles. He plays super far forward when he does have flash, and understandably so, when he doesn't, he knows. He's such a big carry for his team, he has to play safe. So he adopts a much safer approach in these team fights. And that's why J-Team just haven't been able to find him. But now it's not really about the team fights, it's about allowing rest to try and get 1v1s, but this isn't a 1v1.
It does end up being a 2v1, and wow, Ref's incredibly crafty, able to get away. He gets the outplay, flashes back into the brush, and then TP's out. That has to be the play of the split for PCS. Where did he go? He's a magician.
Oh my god, what an absolute wizard there. He hugs the wall, which baits them into thinking he's going to flash over the wall, but instead he flashes into the bush, uses that teleport, and that's actually such a critical escape there from Rest here, because he's really the only possible way they stay in the game. But I mean, taking 2 arrows doesn't help his case. It hurts.
Dago just hits like a truck at this point. It's absolutely insane how much damage he does. He does have the full armor pen build complete with the percentage shred as well. Beyond Gaming,
he's not firing arrows anymore, Clement. He's firing buses, rockets, missiles.
I'm not sure how you can fit a bus into a quiver, but he has found a way. Mawan now getting opened up by Hana. But that's just a 1v1 attempt. So Bowen able to walk out, keeps everything intact. I don't think he even Zanya there. That's a really strong play there. We're going to get a first-person view, hopefully, of Rest and how he outplays everyone.
And he hookshots over the wall, sees that there's a ball there, takes the blast cone back over, and then the perfect play. And, well, the Baby Krug doesn't have enough damage to finish him off. That would have been a true
That was pretty
tragic end.
fun.
If
I love
there was
the
like a
contrast
large
right there.
Krug to finish him off.
That play felt like, Rest telling Beyond Gaming, hey guys, look, this Baby Krug has more combined IQ than the rest of you. It's just like, this Baby Krug ain't getting fooled, but you guys, you can't even tell which way is right, which way is up, which way is down. That was the most insane SOAS play that I've seen in quite a while. Props to Rest for making that happen. Whoever wins this game, Rest is the victor. I don't care what anyone tells me.
He gets MVP, is what I'm hearing.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh my god, Mission, where did your health bar go?
Beyond Gaming are just going to open up. We see the flash coming in. They're going on to Hana, but he gets another great 3-man Moonfall. Isn't enough, though. They can't even take down the support. Mission finally finds one kill, and into the backline we go. Not enough. Mission has to run away at this point. Doggo trying to slow everyone down with the Sorelvias. Can he find his mark? PK rushing in and cutting out the escape route. He does get a 2-man face breaker, and that's going to be all. Lil V trying to run away. The red buff is there. Hail of arrows comes down, and they do find the ace. That is going to be the end for J-Team. They hold the game close for 24 minutes, but that one last Drake fight into the Baron costed them so dearly, and Doggo, without a single death, is going to be able to mop up this team fight for another win, as Beyond Gaming now stands shoulder to shoulder with Machi, firmly behind PSG in second place.
Mega Bank Beyond Gaming, they're just built differently this split. I was a little bit worried about some of the inexperience and trying to get it all together in the spring split coming into summer, but Doggo learned new tricks when he went to MSI, and this is a completely different Beyond Gaming.
The early game for me was the surprising part. J-Team typically do get away just because Mission is such a good mid laner with the Lucian that they don't even need to play another strong jungler with him. But this time it was completely exposed by Husha and Mao, and they chase Mission around his own lanes. They know Diana is a non-factor. They dive him when he's already underneath his tier 2 tower. And that just really set up the entire game for me. Mission couldn't do his job. He wasn't far enough ahead to justify the Lucian. And I think J-Team have to go back to the drawing board and rethink long and hard about their matchups against these top teams in the PCS. Versus PSG, their plan didn't really work out. And versus Beyond Gaming, what they usually have as an ace card doesn't work either. I just love the fact that Beyond Gaming is able to call them out and ask them to shift all in. You can't go half and half in the mid jungle when you're facing these top teams.
Yeah, and for the side of J-Team, I understand what they wanted to do with this Diana pick because they weren't able to find magic damage elsewhere. The Ziggs got banned away, so you weren't going to be able to get the Ziggs in that bottom lane. The mid lane, of course, is the Lucian. Top side, it's so hard to find magic damage there unless if you go to Mordekaiser, and Mordekaiser just isn't very effective in this current meta game. So it ends up being an AP jungler, and any AP jungler you plug into that would have done very poorly.
Yeah, true. It was definitely difficult after most of the bans had gone on there, and their decision to just play Lucian straight off the bat there. I could see your reasoning behind that for that one. But it's just really, I felt like Beyond Gaming just exploited that game plan extremely well early on. And kudos to J-Team, though. I did feel like they had a number of very good team fights. This was a good game for Hana, for sure. He had multiple 3-man Moonfalls coming in and just forcing Doggo to play without summoners throughout most of the mid game, and that's how J-Team were able to survive what was honestly a bit of a disaster for Lucian. You start at 0-2-0 and you on a lethality build with 0 wins over Malan, and Malan gets to play without even building a Seeker's Arm Guard early. That's like, I'm not sure that's how the game is supposed to go for you, but I think Hana kept them close, but unfortunately not close enough.
And there was a number of ways they could have tried to go about it. They could have gone for more of the scaling build with the Lucian. That didn't happen. They could have gone for an early Sterix onto this Camille. That didn't happen. He itemized into solely the split push, but he never got to play the split push, which was the real issue. If you're going for that Ravenous Hydra, you have to attack the 1v1 a lot more aggressively. And the rest just tried to bail out his team, and that's not how you play this build.
I'm just so surprised that we get a first pick Lucian, and then the counter answer is a first pick Ryze, and it still manages to work. Like, Beyond Gaming, Mega Bank Beyond Gaming definitely planned this one out extremely well. We see in the gold graph that small blip is where J-Team found the kill, found the summoner advantage on Doggo, but Doggo still ends the game with 0 deaths on this Varus, 6-0 and 7, 72% kill participation, and 4,900 gold over his opposition in Lil V.
It was just too easy for Doggo. That's really it. You have the 2v2 matchup, and you've got Ezreal Leona. It was never geared to play through the Ezreal Leona, and Mega Bank Beyond Gaming, they hammered their advantage in the mid jungle 2v2 and immediately turned that attention a bottom lane. You saw that level 6 ultimate immediately goes bottom, even without the Volibear ultimate. They pull off the dive, and it's off to the races with that 2v2.
I love what we have been seeing all across the board from Beyond Gaming. Hushot for me has been one of the such a standout jungler. His early games have been so incredibly crisp. Malan has proved me wrong. I thought he was a mage only player, but he's able to survive in very tough matchups and even have the Akali banned away from him, which was like, Malan's Akali is getting banned these days? Well, yeah. He didn't even play Akali in spring. He was like, whatever. And on the last patch where Akali is viable, he's like, yeah, I'm actually good on this champion, by the way, guys. You better ban that. So it's such a surprising level up from Beyond Gaming. If you ask me at the start of the split at 2021, it's like, where is Beyond Gaming going to land? I would definitely tell you they were not going to be a challenge for J-Team or Machi. But they've proven me wrong. This team is scary, and I almost feel like PSG might regret giving Doggo the time in the sun on their own team, because he's taking back a lot.
Yeah, they've actually leveled up so much after MSI, and the extra time before the start of this split definitely contributed to that factor as well. So Beyond, they're very scary.
If Unified has another health issue, they're probably taking Atlan next time, okay? They're definitely not going to reach out for Doggo. They're going to leave him on Beyond Gaming. You're getting a little bit too close for comfort. We're going to be taking a look at today's results so far in the match of the of Alpha Esports versus Liab Esports. Alpha do finally secure themselves a win. Kudos to them. They are no longer on the bottom of the standings. In the rest of the matchup, Impunity, unfortunately, even with a very fun draft, are not able to find a win on week 2. They continue to slide. PSG, flawless still, and Mega Bank Beyond Gaming clinching the last game of the day. What a great performance from all of our players. We're going to be taking a look at the standings. Big shakeups happening in the top lane. Boom Esports does drop 2 positions. Mega Bank Beyond Gaming rise and secure second away from Machi Esports. And the rest of the table stays relatively the same outside of Alpha, which now have leapfrogged all the way to 8th place.
And, I mean, the standings here essentially line up to be very similar to what we kind of expected. The only surprise, of course, Impunity dropping down so far. And we'll need to have them really try and bounce back as we get to see day 1 of next week's matches here. The big one is, of course, Boom Esports having PSG and Mega Bank Beyond Gaming in day 1 back-to-back.
That is so rough for their schedule. I can't imagine them feeling good about that one. In the rest of the matchups, we do have Hong Kong Attitude showing up on the Rift twice as well, going up against J-Team and Alpha. Liab will have another chance to crack open their their lose streak so far against Impunity Esports. This one is crucial for both of these teams if they wanted to make it to playoffs, and we are fast heading to the conclusion of our round 1 robin. So this has been an absolute pleasure from us. That is week 2 in the books coming in, and we will be seeing you guys back on next Friday, where we continue on week 3 and the conclusion of the first round robin. We will have 2 round robins and a 5-week regular split. Things just fly past so incredibly fast in the PCS because of how condensed the entire split is. And we're trying to finish off as the rest of the leagues are wrapping up at the same time. Thank you very much for your viewership, and we hope you had a very enjoyable and fun time with us in the Pacific Championship Series. This has been your host and play-by-play Clement Chu, and also your extremely gorgeous color caster Night Star to the right side of me. Thank you very much for tuning in, and we'll see you next week.